Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up the week here on this Friday. Yeah, give yourself a round of applause, surviving another crazy week. And Friday, you know what? It's kind of, what is it? You got to have it happen 3 times for it to be a pattern. This is the second Friday in a row we've had profit taking place in the metals market, Wall Street. We got the big bank earnings were out. They were good, but everyone thought they would be, and they were. We had retail sales. They were down, and everyone thought they would be. But if you can believe this, I don't know that I do. I actually just think it's a good day. Take some money off the table. The University of Michigan, they do this consumer survey. I've never been called. Well, you know what? The problem is if I don't know the number, I don't answer it anyway. So I guess I'm wondering who answers these calls. I'm imagining it's going to be like a 4-year-old that has learned how to answer the phone, and then maybe some older people, Jason, that are just lonely and that answer the phone for these surveys. Because I really don't know any, but most people I know, like they look at, you look at your phone, like I don't know that number, right? That voicemail. But apparently in this survey, it's wild. Inflation expectations surged to the highest levels in over 2 years. But that's why the bond yields went up. The only thing up today is crude oil. Crude oil is the only thing higher. Bond yields are higher, which actually means it's lower. But, that's a little reversal there. Everything else is down. Gold's down, silver's down, Dow, NASDAQ, you name it. But crude oil on consumers expecting a return of inflation, which of course, everyone's debating, is it one more and done or no more than done? That one would be like, right? Maybe they got to go a lot more to be done. But again, like I said, I'm not sure who answered the phone. I know who answers the phone when you call 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number here. And again, the physical gold and silver markets literally don't care. Don't care. Because the paper guys, JP Morgan, can try to make the silver and gold price be whatever they want. The physical markets will tell you demand is insatiable right now. The website at allamericangold.com. And Jason, that it kind of a lot, the big banks with their big earnings. Then, of course, retail sales. We expected a soft number, got a soft number. But this survey number kind of threw people for the loop. And I will say we had 2 different Fed governors talk. One was talking rainbows and unicorns. And the other one was saying, no, we got to raise rates. And that's the one they want to focus in on.
Yeah, well, we got a few weeks. So here we are Friday in April. We got a few more weeks before the actual decision's made. So
I can barely hear you, Jason. I don't know if you're up or not, but and it may just be me. You may be coming over just fine.
Is that a little better?
Same.
Oh,
maybe it was me. It was me.
Okay. It happened. There's just for the listening guys, there's a lot of new equipment. We're doing some things, and so we're still kind of getting used to all the new stuff. So it's we got more coming too.
Yeah, we'll make that. We're gonna make an announcement next week. We're gonna make an announcement next week for everybody. We got some really good stuff coming here in the future, not only to Patriot but to KHNC as well. But man, what is happening in the world? It has gone absolutely insane. China now they very, very quickly have really put themselves up there out on center stage. The Brazilian president is in China right now, a 3-day meeting, coming out and saying, hey, the BRICS need our own currency. We need to be able to trade and already China and Brazil just last week announced that they were doing trades in their own currency. The Brazilian president talking about, hey, we need a BRICS currency, right? Kind of like, you got the euro. Hey, we need the BRICS. And Jason, they're bound and determined. Listen, say about it what you will. There is a move here, and the move is clear, which is a lot of these nations are saying, hey, we want to do business in something other than dollars, right? Because they get it. Because they understand how it works. Hey, if we can use our own currency, then we can borrow above our means, right? Because that's what was the payoff? What was the advantage for us? Well, it was simple. It allowed us to borrow $40 trillion because the rest of the world had to have dollars. Well, guess what? You don't think China wants to borrow? You don't think Brazil wants to borrow? You don't think Russia and India, right? They get it. They're like, we get it, right? Hey, we've caught up now. We see what it is, and of course, China continues to dump these treasuries. This is a story. This is probably the story that we're not hearing enough about. Is this move by really, when you think about it, the fastest growing country, you think China, you think India, you think Brazil, right? These are the ones that are saying, hey, let's do something else. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Friday. The Dow is down just over 200 points. The S&P is down 12. The NASDAQ is down 50. The 10-year note, this is the biggest move in the 10-year note in a while, 3.51. I laugh this because we're anticipating the Fed funds rate to be between 5 and 5.25. We're talking about the 10-year note being high at 3.51. Crude oil still the only thing higher today, 82.50 on NYMEX crude. Gold is down 38, 2002 right now. Silver's down 50 cents, $25.40. This market recap brought to you by our friends at YRefi. Listen, think about this. Having, that diversified portfolio, it's key. Everybody listening right now, you all know it. You need to have gold and silver in your portfolio, period. But of course, Jason and I always tell you, hey, you shouldn't put all your assets into gold and silver, right? That's just as dumb as having it all in Wall Street or all in housing, right? Sooner or later, you're going to get burned by it. That's why being diversified is key. And here's a great way to diversify some of those debt market holdings, because YRefi, it's not tied to Wall Street. It's not tied to that. They don't care about a University of Michigan survey. And again, I don't know that they really cared or not, but they used that as an excuse today. They don't care what a Fed governor says. They don't care about Jamie Dimon and his earnings report, right? They don't care about CEOs committing fraud or any of that other stuff. And you get great fixed rates of return. If you want to try it out for a year, they'll give you 6.25%. Money markets, they're only paying 4 or 5%. They'll give you 6.25. If you want to go 5 years, they'll give you 10.25. The interest, it's compounded daily. Every month you can decide what you want to do. Some people say, yeah, give me the interest. I'm going to use that for a little extra income. Others, I was like, nah, keep it. Just keep rolling it because I want to keep building. That's more money for me to earn 10.25% on. You get to, and you can change it. You can say 1 month I want to take it, next month I don't. Whatever you want to do. no fees, no penalties. If you need to end early, there's no penalty. You get all of your initial money back, period. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or call them at 888-Y-REFI-24. And Jason, I'll say this. This is kind of what I think we'll see on days where there's not the reports about inflation. Right? We'll probably see markets either have big up days or big down days as computers and whatnot try to figure out what the next move is. This is the speculation without any data points behind it. But I think that, really, I thought retail sales today, it was down over 1%. That's not a healthy sign, right? When retail sales are falling, but seemingly overshadowed by that University of Michigan survey, and then probably more importantly, Fed Governor Waller coming out and saying, no matter what the data says, Jason, he wants that next quarter point, no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's very likely to happen. But down 1%. Well, I'm going to keep going back to the inflation. I think in 2022, I think some of those numbers around this time of the year was probably up. The inflation was up, right, Joe? So it inflated the numbers. So for the numbers to be down 1% with this inflation that's still in place might be much more severe than a negative 1% would have been 5 years ago, Joe. I mean, think about it.
It's a really interesting point, and it's the weakest growth since June 2020. So you're going back quite a way. So essentially, before everyone got checks from the government, this was a number. And again, they were expecting it to be lower. It was a little lower than expectations, but still retail sales down 1%, ex autos down 8%. Retail sales ex autos in gas down 0.3%. That's kind of weird because they told us gas got cheaper. Even though here in Arizona, gas didn't get cheaper, but hey, who cares about facts, right? And then the control group. What? The control group? Oh, that's right. I forgot. Like everything else, the Federal Reserve we don't want to count everything. We don't want to count everything when we decide how healthy the economy is. So we're going to cherry pick this. The control group down 0.3%. Retail sales was up only 2.9% year over year, down 1% month over month. And even with their number, so remember, what was it, a couple days ago? CPI, they said, was at 5%. So year over year up to 9. Let's round it up. Let's give it 3. Math's easier that way. That's actually like sales being down 2%, right, Jason?
That's right. And these numbers are so hard. Are these all gross sales numbers that you're saying, Joe? That's why I probably can bring the inflation in. With inflation,
yeah, seasonally adjusted, right? Who knows what they do?
With inflation, the gross numbers should always be up. With inflation, your gross numbers should go up unless you are failing miserably. That's why I think the negative 1% is maybe a lot worse than it would have been, let's say, 2018 or 2017. The inflation is...
Well, and again, though, in fairness, inflation was at 6% the month before, so maybe that down 1% was... Hey, inflation got a little, eggs went from $9 to $7. I don't know.
That could be it. It could be the so-called disinflation, right?
We found it. Hey, we found it. We found the disinflation. We finally found it. I was wondering where it was.
It means your sales numbers go down. Disinflation means you make less money. How's that? Is that going to be the definition?
I will say this: Anheuser-Busch has some disinflation. They've lost $6 billion in their stock price. I don't know. You haven't talked about that on Patriot, but hey, when you're down $6 billion, I'm gonna bring it up. Of course it's so funny to watch Anheuser-Busch scramble. Oh no! Listen, none of the higher level execs were aware that this was happening.
Joe, let me give you the example of what Budweiser did. Joe gets a brilliant idea, and Joe and Jason bring Dave Ramsey onto the Patriot show to sell gold. That's essentially what they did. That is what Budweiser did, right?
Yes. Don't buy gold, Dave Ramsey. Eat beans and rice. Yes.
I don't know what Budweiser was thinking, man. I don't know.
I will say this. So, and I've said this many, many times. I have multiple friends that are in the bar and restaurant business. And every single one of them, by the way, their best-selling beer, Bud Light. Bud Light. Talk to every single one of them this week. Bud Light sales down anywhere from 40 to 80% in certain bars. I mean, Jason, it really is. You're left scratching your head, right? At some point, right? Dude, you got to know your customer a little bit, don't you? For those of you that don't know, there may be people out there that don't know. Because one of my friends was saying that the guys that were ordering the Bud Lights, especially the ones that were getting it in, the bottle, so people knew, because, if you pour a draft, you're not sure. Right? Is that a Bud Light, a Miller Light, a Coors Light? We're not sure. But the guys that were ordering the bottles didn't know. And their friend, their bar buddies started, busting their balls. And guess what? Oh, you know what? Here, give me a Miller Light or give me a Coors Light. Right? They didn't order another one. You know what I'm saying? And it's something where, so for those that don't know, Budweiser decided to launch a little marketing campaign with a guy that is now wanting to be a woman, and ran a little marketing campaign. He is some form of influencer. I don't know. And either way, blown up in their faces. And I just love it when I read these articles and all the no higher level executives were involved in this decision. What? Really? So these lower level people, they can just do whatever they want?
You know what it feels like, Joe? It feels like they were somebody way up in the government. It's like, how much have people accepted this thing? Let's pay Budweiser a whole bunch of money under the table, and they'll just hire somebody, and we'll see how unpopular it is in Middle America. You almost feel it's that dumb of a move.
I don't care. I really don't. You want to, be trans or gay. Well, I don't care. But it doesn't need to be in everybody's face. And I hope it continues. I hope people continue to do this so this nonsense will just stop, right? Enough already, right? That's where I'm at on it. I hope it continues. I hope their stock goes down another $6 billion.
It's just the way it is. I don't want to go too deep into it.
I'll say this caveat. I don't drink Bud Light. So it's easier for me to say it, right? Because I don't drink Bud Light. So I'm in the clear here.
I don't want to say anything because it's like, certain men just want to be men. And that's just, I don't care what your opinion is of it. It's not very manly. The spokesperson's not a manly guy. I think Bud Light and Budweiser, it's like beer drinking is a manly thing. And one thing I think most people can agree as an opinion is trans is not manly. How's that? So if you have a manly product, don't get an unmanly spokesperson. It doesn't really work, right, Joe? I think Budweiser figured out a long time ago. You have scantily clad women in football games, right?
Right. I mean, listen, not everything's meant to be all inclusive, right? I mean, there's certain things that are for women, certain things that are for men, and it's okay. It's okay. Right? I mean, everyone's lost their damn mind. right? Somehow, listen.
You join the club to just temporarily get away from the rest of the world. And the club is usually not politically correct.
Right. You're right. That's what exactly right. There you have it. Well, there you go. So we've covered it now. 800-951-0592. You know, last week we reported Manhattan had record office vacancies. Today they've got company. San Francisco has now hit a new record in office vacancies. And some of the big major banks that were out today were talking about, Jason, that they need to start bulldozing office buildings, that there's way too many and that we got to get rid of them, right? Hey, if you're 40 years old or older, get the bulldozer out.
That's what Baltimore was doing just a few years ago. Remember that? Baltimore was bulldozing. I think it was more residential properties, and we all know about Detroit. I mean, it doesn't, nobody talks about Detroit anymore. Isn't that sort of the looming example of future America, Joe, as we just slowly grind down, right? Detroit.
The slow decline. When we get back, listen, everyone get ready, because I'm going to tell you right now, we've got a great special, but it is teeny tiny. So you're going to need to get in quick.